So tomorrow marks the day where the Raiders have to cut down from 90 players all the way down to 53, and we're going to talk about some of the cut potentials as well as a brewing situation that is going on in regards to the quarterback situation. Now that Aiden O'Connell is injured, going to have to get surgery on that wrist, and he will miss half of the season. Pete Carroll has come out and he has said point blank that they are looking for a replacement for him and that he prefers a veteran versus somebody like Cam Miller who does not have a lot of NFL experience. So this kind of pretty much rules out the Raiders going and grabbing any of the rookie class from this year that teams are going to drop down to their practice squad. Instead, he is looking for a quality depth piece who has years of experience in the NFL. And who could that be? Well, we know that Tyler Huntley is probably going to be getting cut. He'll probably be available. However, I'm not sure that you go and you grab a guy like Tyler Huntley when he is not even able to make a team as a third string quarterback. And so I think that the Raiders are most likely going to do something like a trade. Now, who would the Raiders trade for in order for it to be really worth it? There's a couple of names out there. Number one, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is Derek Carr. Derek Carr is recently retired. However, you cannot just go and sign Derek Carr due to the fact that he is still technically under contract with the New Orleans Saints. So if you were to try and do anything with this Derek Carr, you would have to go and make some kind of a compensatory pick in order to get him off of the Saints and on to the Raiders. I think that in this regard, you could probably get Derek Carr back in the silver and black as a backup to Geno Smith for less than a 5th or a 6th round draft pick to the New Orleans Saints. And that would be great, especially if he would come in and take the league minimum. Now, I highly doubt that that's going to happen. I don't think Derek Carr is going to come out of retirement in order to be a backup. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. However, he does love and bleed silver and black, and I think that this would be really cool in order for him to retire as an active player rather than coming in and just retiring as a Raider as a one-day type of shenanigan. So listen, here's the thing. Out of all of the quarterbacks that are available, either through trade or through the free agency, Derek Carr definitely has the highest potential. There's nobody better out there than Derek Carr. So does this make sense for the Raiders to go and do it? Sure. Does it make sense for Derek Carr to do it? Probably not, and that's why it's not going to happen. Now, the second guy on the list is a Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston right now is the odd man out over there in New York. He is probably not going to make this team. He could get cut. However, they could keep him on the 53-man roster just to use him as trade bait. And again, this is one of those things where the Raiders could come in to the New York Giants and say, listen, we will give you a 5th round draft pick for a Jameis Winston. Come over, sign him to a 1-year deal, and now your problem is solved. Here's a couple of things about Jameis Winston. He very much fits in the mold of Chip Kelly's offense and what we're trying to do here with the Las Vegas Raiders. And he is beloved by his teammates on every team that he's ever been in. So he's a good locker room guy as well. And he is a mad bomber. He loves to throw the ball deep. Sometimes this gets him into trouble and he ends up with interceptions. But imagine this. You have two speed demons on either side of the ball with Trey Tucker and Thornton Jr. Now, Thornton Jr. is 6'5", so you can throw those big bombs down the sideline, and even if he is covered, he is most likely either going to come down with it or he's going to knock the ball away. Whereas with Trey, you do got to make sure that he is open before you throw him the ball. So there's a couple of guys that the Raiders could go out and make a trade for, and as far as just going and signing somebody, I honestly don't believe that there is anybody that is available right now that would be worth a darn in order to go and sign them, other than a couple of guys that you could make a trade for. And again, we're not going to make any moves on any rookies that are going to be available either through the trade or out there on waivers or even on practice squads because Pete Carroll has said so. Now let's talk a little bit about one thing that is extraordinarily important, and that is if you're looking for a tiny house, if you're looking for an ADU, you got to give my boy Kevin Ross over at Box House a big shout out. He and Box House have the best business model out there when it comes to tiny homes. They can literally deliver it anywhere in the continental United States, and their prices are to die for. They are simply the best in the business for a reason. So guys, if you're looking for a mother-in-law suite to throw in your backyard, if you're looking for a tiny home to throw on your property out in the middle of nowhere, if you are just looking for an additional dwelling unit that you can rent out on Airbnb, give Box House a call because they are absolutely fantastic. Now let's move on to a couple of cut candidates that I want to talk about today. Let's start with the running back room. The running back room for the Las Vegas Raiders is very stacked right now, and we don't know who is going to make the cut and who is not. I think there's a couple of names that we need to pay attention to. One is Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert is in his 30s, and for a quarterback, that is the death knell. He has not shown a whole lot when it comes to the preseason games. He didn't show any big flashes. What he showed was stability. Yes, he can still run the ball. Yes, he can still receive the ball. And yes, he is still a decent running back. And so I think that that gives him the ability and edge, just the experience alone, for him to make this 53-man roster. However, he could still be cut because there is young guys behind him like Laube and like a Collier. These two guys are fighting for a spot on this team right now. Both of them are cut candidates. Now, I would have to give Laube the edge up due to the fact that Laube is a special teamer. He can go back there and receive punts and kicks, and he's pretty good at it and pretty sure-handed. Though I know in the past he had a couple of fumbles and it did cost the Raiders. This is a new year, a new regime, and so I think Laube probably has the edge over Collier. So when it comes to running back room, I expect to see Collier probably end up drop down to the practice squad, barring any injury to any of our running backs. Your starting running back is obviously going to be Ashton Genty, followed by Zamir White, and then maybe Raheem Mostert, and then Laube is going to be primarily a special teamer. When it comes to the wide receivers, we do have a lot of wide receivers on this team, and there's going to have to be some serious decisions made. I think that as the wide receiver core goes, we're pretty set at Thornton Jr. is going to be wide receiver number one. I think that he has pretty much earned that spot. He has shown nothing but brilliance in all of the practices and the preseason, and he is just going to be a dominant wide receiver. Then obviously Jacoby Myers, he's going to be your slot receiver, and he's your do-it-all kind of guy. And then you have Trey Tucker on the opposite side. So this is going to be your base three, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then you're going to have obviously the best tight end of Brock Bowers, and then Michael Mayer, who's one of the best backup tight ends in the NFL, really eating up that middle. And this is going to be a very dynamic offense with Geno Smith, as we've already seen in the preseason. I hope that that's going to continue on into the regular season, but only time will tell. Guys, if you really like this type of content, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment down below. Let's see some Raiders. Can we get 1,000 Raiders down in those comments?